This was it. This was the big story of the day. Serena Williams doing it again, getting us all talking about not tennis during one of the biggest tennis tournaments in the world. One of the biggest tournaments of the year. Ben Rothenberglers, who writes for tennis for the New York Times, he broke it. He was there. He saw it. And he tweeted this out. In a sort of victory for feminism, if you want to say that. 23-time slam champ Serena Williams got ATP number 4 Dominic Thiem's press conference, already underway, booted. She canceled it. Booted out of the main Roland Garros 19 interview room because she didn't want to wait for him to finish. Needless to say, he was not thrilled. And this is the best response. Sam Groth, speaking for everyone with a brain. Not a victory for feminism, Ben. Wait your turn for the press room like everyone else. Thiem, still in the draw, having won, because Serena lost, would have agreed to a press time and has a round of 16 match to prepare for. Serena, she just has her jet on the tarmac. Ooh, that's a burn. Anyways, welcome to the Coffee Break Tennis Podcast. We will definitely do a video tomorrow, I promise. I'm telling you, being out on the tennis court and watching all this tennis and doing these podcast videos late, whew, it's tough work. But it's not as tough as what Dominic Thiem went through. That looked like a lot of work. A lot of work in that match. And who's he have next? Monfils, who's had a couple matches that were much easier than Dominic Thiem's last two. But credit Dominic Thiem, and now this. I don't think this is going to mess him up or anything, but this whole thing, it sucks for him. It's a distraction he didn't need at this stage in the tournament, and I hope he's already forgotten about it. Anyways, let's take a look at the story. Let's break it down. So, from the Metro, George Belshaw. Oh, you know what? Let's play for you what Dominic Thiem said. Take a listen. Oh, technical difficulties.
I don't really get it, seriously. I mean, what the hell?
Sorry.
No, but it's a joke, really.
It's a joke.
What's my point of that? That I have to leave the room because she's coming.
That she has to wait is not the key.
He looks angry.
What?
What?
But I leave also then. Yeah, what? Then I can also do whatever I want.
Oh my. I can also do whatever I want, but I leave also. Bye-bye. That's basically what he said, and God bless him. He did the right thing. I'm all out of water. Great. I'll do my best without water. We'll do whatever it takes here at Coffee Break Tennis. Yeah, no problem with how, people on the Twitters. God, this reminds me of how much I hate Twitter. A bunch of ding-dongs on Twitter were mad at Thiem, although it seems like, when you read through Twitter, sometimes you have hope for the world because there seems to be enough people to where you think everything's going to be okay, enough people with brains in their heads. But some people were mad at Dominic Thiem like he did something wrong. I think the worst thing I saw, or the best, depending on how you look at it, the funniest tweet I saw from somebody who's just delusional, an insane person, he said something like, Queen Serena has, you're not a champion. Serena's a real champ. Dominic Thiem, sorry, but you haven't won anything yet, so you need to earn it. Queen Serena gets whatever she wants. Literally, this person said it. And then he added, and I know this sounds like a joke. This is literally something I said when I first heard this. I said, Serena's out there saying, I have a child. I have a daughter. Kick him out. Let me in. Joke. We don't know. Let me just say that if you're mad at me because you love Serena, I want to give Serena the benefit of the doubt here, but I'm going to show you the story because we got another story from foxsports.com Australia, and it's a French Open 2019 new version of events in the Serena Williams controversy. And when I first heard this, I said, cool your jets. Let's not go nuts because, maybe Serena had nothing to do with this. Maybe it's just a big mistake by the tournament organizers. And that's what this article attempts to do well, not, they're reporting L'Equipe, I don't know how to say it, some French publication, the French journal, I don't know what they're called, L'Equipe, they try to do that, and it still doesn't look very good for Serena either way. The best case scenario looks bad. The worst case scenario looks really bad. The worst thing of all for Serena is, why do things like this keep happening? Because every time we have a controversy with Serena, it gets us not talking about tennis, luckily just for a day. Don't worry. Tomorrow, the matches, they're enticing. They're enthralling. They're exciting. They're, what's another E word? Ausgezeichnet. I like that better. Me and Dominic like that better. They'll wipe this away. But my big takeaway from this is, hey, Serena, why do things like this keep happening to you? It seems like we get one of these stories every year for the last 10 years almost. You know, whether it's the ball down the throat or the debacle from last year at the U.S. Open. And all of these things have one thing in common. It's always Serena taking what some would call in French, le dump on somebody in a lower position than her. If it's the little ball lady, the little line judge, you know, Serena, use your position, your platform of power to do good in the world, not to squash the people beneath you like peasants. And it sounds like in this article that she did. Anyway, so I hope Dominic Thiem has already forgotten about this nonsense. He's doing what he needs to do. He's just working his way through the draw, finding form. I still don't like how far he stands back all the time. But this is it's a plan. It's a game plan. Work on your fitness. Be a fitness machine, kind of like a Rafa style, if you think, although less urgency to move up with Dominic, although he's getting better. And he's adding approaches to the net. Was pretty good-looking volleys, much better than Sasha Zverev's volleys, although his volleys are getting a little better, slowly. I am a better volleyer than Alexander Zverev at this moment, but he's quickly catching me. Anyways, Thiem's doing that. Thiem's throwing in some pretty good drop shots. Djokovic, not such a good drop shot day. Salvatore Caruso, the match was closer than the score looked. I'll tell you we'll go through the draw and I'll give you all the takeaways of every match I saw, and we'll talk about the matches tomorrow. Mouth-watering matches, as they would say in the media. How many are you sick of hearing that? Mouth-watering matchup. Can we just say something different? It's been a couple years of mouth-watering matchups. Let's think of a new phrase. Anyways, let's squash this Serena stuff like Serena squashes her servants when they anger her. Fox Sports says, a new version of events in the Serena Williams controversy. Austrian star Dominic Thiem was left fuming on Saturday. By the way, I know some people don't like the voices, especially the Dominic Thiem voice. I know most people think it's funny. I think it's funny. We're all about having fun at the show. But if this caused any pain, if Dominic Thiem felt hurt, because we got to realize, these guys seem larger than life. We see them on TV. They're playing these huge tournaments, but they're people too. If I ever found out that it caused him any kind of uncomfortableness, I would probably stop doing it. Same with Del Potro. But I just want, if you're one of those people out there that don't like the voices, I do it from a place of love and respect for these guys. And I'm just trying to have fun, and I want you to have fun as well. Anyways. With that said, let's move forward. Austrian star Dominic Thiem was left fuming on Saturday after apparently being kicked out of his own Roland Garros media conference so that a defeated Serena Williams could be accommodated instead. That's what the story is going around. Here we go. However, he was then informed that the main... Okay, so you know what happened with Thiem. So they they kick him out after it's already started. They put him in a smaller one, and you heard him. You heard what he said. He says, "Screw this, I'm out of here. I can do whatever I want to." Let's find this stuff about Serena. This is just rehashing what we already know. Excuse me. I hope nobody heard me back away from the microphone and do a burp. But no editing tonight. We're just going nonstop straight, so I can just upload it and try to catch up on sleep and do my best to watch the incredible matches we have coming up tomorrow and teach tennis on the court all in one day and make a video tomorrow. Okay. Where is it? Oh, I'm really sorry about this, guys. Oh, here it is. I find it finally. The blame was initially put on Williams, but French Sports Daily, L'Equipe, I don't know how to say it, has claimed that Williams had no preference over where she carried out her press conference. Okay, so she didn't care, right? Put me in another room, a smaller one, but now, she was reported to have said. That doesn't sound very good. Put me in another room, a smaller one, but now. And then here's the part that really looks bad to me. With Williams reportedly becoming increasingly impatient, officials looked to rescue the situation by moving Thiem to another room. Okay, so maybe, and then she said, ironically, that's really impolite, she was heard to say. Is it true? I don't know. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. But again, so maybe she didn't want to disrespect Dominic Thiem, but she still is barking orders at these officials who run the media situation. And my small experience in Cincinnati, I think it's usually a lot of the same people traveling the world with the tour. Seem like pretty nice people who really go out of their way to be very nice to the players. So I don't think there'd be a reason to bark at these people, even if you just lost. It's hard for me to understand. Anyways, there was one more thing she says, and it was great. Where is it? Okay, here we go. This is from stuff she said in there. And this is, do you remember her? She's saying, "You're a thief and a liar," to the umpire last year at the U.S. Open. I would have expected to gotten past the third round, said Serena Williams. If someone said I would only get this far, I'd have said they were a liar. Wow, Serena, don't say that anymore. Don't even say the word liar anymore. Do a focus group on it. It looks bad. All right, that's enough of Serena. Like I said, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but why does stuff like this keep happening? I understand it's tough to lose. I'm not the most graceful loser. I get really mad too, but you don't want to bark at these people or anyone, really. It's one thing to, I get it going after the umpire. I get it when Federer turns around and tells Djokovic's family to shut up. I get it when Stan was mad at Mirka for calling him a crybaby. But I don't know. Come on, they're there to help you out. Anyways, that's enough of that. So let's look at a couple more news articles, and then we'll look at the matches, and then we'll get out of here. Rafa says, "I'm back to my normal serve motion." So if you'll remember, back to the Australian Open, Rafa was experimenting with a new service motion that was supposed to give him more power, flatten the ball out a bit more. Ironically, Rafa, he says he switched. Let's read what he says. He says, "It's my normal serve for a set number of weeks since Barcelona. I came back to my prior serve. I need a bit more of the confidence, mentally speaking, when you're not perfectly on the spot. I had to recover somewhat. I know that the serve I had used before the clay season, before the Barcelona, I know that the serve is a positive. I had served very well in Australia, Indian Wells, Acapulco. That's true. Que es verdad. Si se puede." It gave good results, but here on clay, things are different. That's why I came back to my prior serve. So that's interesting to me. But here's a tricky one. Rafa's serving a higher, at least as of the last match. I want to say it was his last match. I saw this. They were showing his speeds, and I haven't looked at the stats. I will do so soon. Probably tomorrow, we'll look at a lot of stats. I think we'll have, after 4 matches played, we'll be able to compare Fed, Joker. Well, not Joker. He won't play his 4th yet. He'll after Monday we will. But we'll be able to compare these players and how their stats stack up after 4 matches. You get a good idea of what their average is going to be like here. So we'll look at all that. But from what I've seen is Rafa's average serve speed is the fastest it's ever been at the French Open right now. It's even, what I saw was faster than 2010 U.S. Open, which the one time I got to, or one of the 2 times I got to talk to Rafa Nadal and ask him questions, I said, "I remember the way you served so amazing in 2013. And he got the whole media room to laugh at me, which was kind of embarrassing. But he was so nice about it, and he tried to not make me feel bad, I could tell. And he said, "No, you are mistaken. This is not 2013. 2013, my serve is okay. 2010. You are thinking of 2010 when the serve was unbelievable." So it's even faster than that. The U.S. Open 2010 1 mile an hour average. I believe it was 119 then and 120 miles an hour first serve average at the French Open this year. And the only thing I can tell you is it's not all about the service motion getting speed. You know, maybe going back to the old motion was just so nice feeling. It just clicked right away. It fit like a perfect pair of pants. Oh, God, I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? Rafa, he goes back to it and thinks, oh, yeah, now I remember why I like this one. And your shoulder loosens up a little, your arm gets a little looser, and you start slanging it. And yeah, that's the only thing I can say to explain how that may have happened. I remember I switched my service motion for a little bit, and it felt like at first like, oh, I can produce more power here. And then once I kind of went back to the old one, things were better than ever. So sometimes you switch a little, you see what you can do with it, and then you go back to the old stuff. It works way better. What else? One more thing. Rafa Nadal confirms head injury. Remember when we showed him walking into the camera? Well, he said he actually he had sustained a minor head injury. So that's pretty interesting. Last news story, then we'll go to the draw. Roger Federer invited me to train with him. I thought I was drunk. Salvatore Caruso, who played a pretty good match considering he was up against Djokovic in a situation he's never been in his career. And it's a nice story to hear. He said, mid-August 2013, I was holding a glass of vodka in my hand, and an Italian coach called me and said Roger Federer was looking for a hitting partner in Switzerland and asked if I was available. I looked at the glass, and I think I am drunk. I was with him for 3 days. He even took my racket for a joke after the last practice. He is just great. I saw some footage of Federer on the practice court kind of joking around from a couple days ago. He's doing some wacky-looking, crazy serve motion. And, I think I believe it. I bet Federer is a lot of fun to practice with. Anyways, he's talking about, let's see, what did he say? He's thinking about being a complete player. I was born on clay, but for my style, I always fit to hard, and I enjoy the grass. Many times as a kid, when I could not get big results, I asked myself if I had to continue, but now I am happy. Money was never an obsession. In my family, we usually treat them with respect. I will use them, I think not them, the money. We usually treat money with respect. I will use the money to improve my career. He earns just under $100,000 for his result at the French Open. So what a nice story for a guy who hasn't had a big payday like that and is, I'm sure, worked very hard. Let's look at the draw and talk about the matches, and then we shall go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. And wow, it's like Christmas. It's going to be soon, especially, oh man, can you imagine if we get Federer in the Wimbledon final? If we get like Fadal at the Wimbledon final the night before that, that's like going to bed before Christmas when you're a child. Nothing compares to that except for these incredible nights you try to go to sleep before the biggest matches of all time. Djokovic will play Jan-Lennard Struff in the quarterfinal on Monday. Or is it the round of 16, excuse me. Djokovic and Salvatore Caruso. Like I said, the score line, it's straight setters for Joker, but it was a tricky match. Here's a couple takeaways for me. Djokovic was, I didn't watch the entire match, but I watched a lot of it. And I was surprised how many times the Djokovic serve missed a spot and a lot of opportunities for Caruso to hurt him. Also, Djokovic put down a lot of drop shots that were Salvatore Caruso got to him, pretty much all of them. I'm thinking of one where he didn't put it away for a winner. This happened multiple times where it clipped the net. Otherwise, he probably would have won that one too. A lot of reasons to be a little bit frustrated if you're Djokovic, but you know what? You're through. And next up, you got Jan-Lennard Struff, who had a crazy match with Borna Coric. What was the final score? It was like 12-10 in the fifth set. And he had to come back from the dead a couple times. I remember I was playing a match this morning, a doubles match. And, you know, I hate trying to look at my phone in the middle of a match. I feel like it's kind of insulting to the opponent, but I did take a couple peeks. And I remember seeing, like, Borna Coric had to have been serving for the match. And, gets broken back. And ultimately, Borna Coric loses. It's kind of a bad result for Chorich, but like I said, 11-9. 11-9 in the fifth. That's what it was. But Jan Linderstruff, man, he's been working hard, and he's just been getting better and better over the years. He's truly an all-court player. He looks very comfortable moving on clay. He seems to really enjoy moving on clay. And I just don't think he's going to have enough left over to challenge Joker like he would normally be capable of. But who knows? Djokovic, of course, returned very well against Caruso. Struff has a much better serve, so we'll really get to see how well Djokovic is returning. Definitely watch that match if you want to try to see what to expect from the future of this draw. Okay, Sasha Zverev and Fabio Fognini. Again, Sasha Zverev, did he win the first two sets, I think? Yes, 6-4, 6-2. Then he loses 6-4, 6-1. And then he wins the fifth, 6-2. Now, full disclosure, I did not get to watch any of that match. I played a match this morning. Then I went to the courts and taught some lessons. And then, like a ding-dong, I played a singles set because I wanted more. And then I just took time trying to recover from feeling terrible for a while, being so stiff. I've played a lot of tennis the last few weeks trying to lose weight because me and Crunch Time Coaching, Peter Freeman, are going to have our clinic in Cincinnati. And I would like to drop like 20 pounds before I go to Cincinnati and have a bunch of people see me running around on the tennis court. It's a very fun clinic. We're going to have, at least 20 people out there. And me and Pete do a draft, and we pick people. If you're someone who would be interested in such an event, when the time gets closer, I'm sure I'll be able to put some kind of link out there and let people check it out and see if you want to sign up and join us in Cincinnati. It's really one of my favorite things from the whole year. So anyways, I'm playing tennis like too much to the point where like I'm always hurting now, but I am losing weight slowly but surely. Okay, what do we got? Why did I talk about me playing tennis again? Oh, because full disclosure, I didn't watch Sasha Zverev. But another match where he's up 2-0 and ends up having to go 5. Fabio Fognini's got a real chance. He's got to like his chances here. Fabio Fognini, what was his score line today? Not as tricky as that one, was it? Another full disclosure match I did not get to watch. I watched a lot of Dominic Thiem and Cuevas. I watched a lot of Djokovic's match. And I watched a lot of Del Potro because I just wanted to see how he's moving after that knee. Those were the matches that I spent my time watching. I got to see a little bit of Monfils, probably about like 6 games total of Monfils spread out from me walking in and out of the room, taking peeks at it. I did not see the final set of Krajinovic or Wawrinka, which I would like to look at. I'd like to look at that as I go to bed tonight, actually, because I feel like I have to see that before I watch the match tomorrow. By the way, how exciting is that? Wawrinka and Tsitsipas meeting for the first time tomorrow. Things are really getting good, and all top 10 seeds are still alive. Of course, Djokovic is alive. Fognini is still alive. Sasha Zverev, Dominic Thiem. Who else is a top seed? Juan Martín, Del Potro, Ki Nishikori, Rafa Nadal, Roger Federer, Stefanos Tsitsipas. That's all of them. That's all top 10 seeds. And, I had a great thing from Ollie. Do I still have it? Let me try to find it really quick because this is the first time. Thank you, Ollie, who always sends me great stuff all the time. I love Ollie. And, of course, I can't find it. Where the heck is it? Can't find it, but you get my point. This is the first time in a while that we've had this happen. So I told you I had a special feeling about this tournament. It is a special time. Where was I? Back to the matches. I was doing all my full disclosures. We were talking about Fabio Fognini. Let me find his score. Monfils had another easy one. Fognini wins in a tiebreaker, 6-4, drops 1 4-6, and commanding 6-1. Eat the baguette. What do they eat in Italy? Eat the breadstick. I guess breadsticks were invented in Italy. You ever seen that video of real Italians trying Olive Garden breadsticks? And she says in Italian, I think that this is I can't say it. I don't like to say. This is a clean show. It's a family show. No cursing. She says it tastes like, the stuff you don't want to taste. Dominic Thiem will play Monfils next. Dominic Thiem, that was a pretty tough match. I did watch this match, almost all of it. Definitely watched every second of that first set. And wow, Pablo Cuevas is a very fun player to watch. He comes out on fire. He wins the first 2 games. The third game, he hits some kind of breathtaking winner out of nowhere on the first point and looking like, oh, man, he's going to win. He's going to break Thiem again and go up 3-0. And then before you know it, it'll be 4-0, right? And then Thiem almost gives him a bagel. Obviously not a real bagel, but you're down 2-0 and you win 5 games and have a game point to win 6 games in a row. Even though you didn't get bageled, if you lose that way, you feel like you just get bageled. You're thinking like, wow, great. I was up 2-0 and then I basically got bageled. It's like worse than getting bageled. You know what's worse than that? Being up 5-0 and then losing 7-5. That's literally worse than getting bageled because it's 7 games. Comment below if you've ever seen that happen. I'm sure it's happened at some point, but that's got to be extremely rare. Never happened to me. Promise you that. Never happened to me. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So Dominic Thiem pretty much gives him the bagel. Doesn't quite, but he wins that set. And it just seemed like Pablo Cuevas was making all of the insane shots. Remember that trick shot he hit where he fakes an overhead and then hits an underhand little drop shot against Tsitsipas? He hits all the hardest shots, but then some of the easier shots that he should have made, that's where the errors were popping up. And Dominic Thiem just went into lockdown mode. He stands way back. He gets everything back. And he hits the ball so hard that when there's an opening, he can hit a winner, even if he's still standing way back. That's the kind of power he has. That's the kind of fitness he has. And that's the game he has. Guess who can do that just as well? Gael Monfils, who he will play next. Kachanov went through Marty Klizan in 3 straight sets. Delpo, I watched a lot of his match, and something ironic happened, especially for me. But Juan Martín Del Potro, he wins in 3, shocks us. What was that third set score? Did he thump him with a bagel? Yeah. 6-4, 6-4, 6-0. Just had to make sure, because who expected to see that? So clearly, Dominic Thiem's knee is okay. I mean, not Dominic, Delpo. But in the beginning, I got to tell you, it seemed like Del Potro was maybe being a little careful with his movement. Maybe I looked into it too much. Maybe I'm imagining it. But I felt like Delpo not going all out on the movement early. And then all of a sudden he started looking more and more comfortable. And he did enough moving around the court that I'm convinced he's going to be okay. Will it come back is my big question. Karen Catch 'em all. Who commented that? Because that was brilliant. Karen Gata Catch 'em all, Pokey Master of Russia. The Ruski. The big one. This should be a good match. Tough to predict because who knows if Delpo will hurt again. He still had his knee taped, but he moved well enough to make me think he can get through Kachanov. But another must-watch. I mean, all these matches are must-watch. We get all these seeds, and we got all these interesting players. You know, we got the 1 seed versus Struff. Okay, no seed there. We got 9 versus 5. And Fonini and Serve. We got 4 versus 14, Thiem and Monfils. And, and 10 versus 8, and Kakanak, Catch 'em all versus Del Potro. Let's look at the bottom. Tomorrow, even more exciting. Here's big news that you may not have heard because it was kind of hard to find. It's not all over the place. Thanks to Serena, that news is pretty much, if you search anything tennis news related, you're going to see mostly that stuff. Leonardo Oscar Mayer Wiener. Again, no offense. It's a funny name. Mary Carrillo's the one who said it. Her version was a little different than mine. But full credit to Mary Carrillo and her wacky name she comes up with, too. Get a credit her. She can be pretty funny. He's hurt. He's got a tear. It's a small tear, is what I understand, in his left thigh, I believe. This is perfect for Roger Federer. Very sad for Leonardo Mayer. But for Federer, this is a dream scenario. He's come through without dropping a set. Is he the only player to do that? Djokovic dropped a set? No. Joker and Federer have not dropped a set. Is there anyone else who has not dropped a set? I do not think so. What about Stan? Nope, he dropped a set in his first match. Anyways, Roger hasn't dropped a set. He gets Mayer, which is, considering this is to get into the quarterfinals of the French Open where he haven't played in 4 years, pretty good draw. It could be a lot worse. And the guy is admitting that he's injured. That can be dangerous. Sometimes an injured player just start playing hyper aggressive because they know they can't get stuck in long rallies. Maybe he'll produce a master class. But, that happened to him a long time ago. Where was that? Shanghai? And it didn't work out for him. Federer came back. So the big question is, Federer's going to win, but how fast can he get off the court? And I think he can, if he can come through this in straight sets and be out of there pretty easily. Stefanos and Stan, the battle of guys with 4-letter first names. They're going to destroy each other, you would think. You got to expect a 5-set, unless Wawrinka, Wawrinka's earned it. He's a champ here. He's not defending right now, but he has won here at the French Open 4 years ago. We gotta say he's the favorite now, even though he's the 24 seed versus the 6 seed. I mean, that's 4 times. 6 times 4, Jeez, that doesn't sound so good. But come on, we know who Stan is. We know what he's capable of. He's looked very good. Grigor Dimitrov, I didn't watch the third set, but I saw those first 2 sets. The guy was playing pretty near the best he's played in a while, right? Maybe the best he's played all year in that match, and Stan was always able to find a way to win. 3 sets. 3 tiebreakers, I know. Tough stuff. Him and Steph both had to come back the next day. It's really hard to pick a winner for this match if you have to predict it. I want to say Steph. I want to go with Tsitsipas. A guy on my Alta team, my doubles team today, he's got a name for Tsitsipas. He calls him because he doesn't even know how to pronounce it. I thought that was funny. Anyways, I want to go with Tsitsipas, but Stan, he's earned it. He's got to be the favorite in this one now. If you read, he's like a foregone conclusion if you just read a news article about, Federer was likely to feed the 6 seed Tsitsipas. I don't know. Stan is looking very good. Here's what I think is going to happen, though. This is going to be a battle, and whoever comes out, it's too hard to pick, is going to be not in the best position to beat Federer. I really think we're going to see Fadal. Benoit Paire, Nishikori, I want to go with Benoit Paire. Nishikori's been through a lot. Paire too, but Paire's got the French crowd. Paire's last match easier than Nishikori's last match. And Rafa and Juan Ignacio Londero. I think Londero is capable of challenging Rafa and making it tough. He could maybe win a set, but you're crazy if you think Rafa doesn't win that match. And very likely it's going to be straight sets. Rafa will come through Paire. He will come through a tired Nishikori. Rafa's going to be there. The question is who comes out of the top, and I think we have a strong case for Roger Federer. Let me talk a little bit about Roger Federer because I didn't talk, funny enough, in my last video, which I hope to God they don't take down from YouTube. The French Federation got me on the video before for showing like 5 seconds of Juan Martín del Potro bowing after he wins a match. There wasn't even a ball struck. It just shows him bowing to Nishioka. And they got me for that. And I filed a whatever you do, an appeal. I went through the appeals process through YouTube, so hopefully it fixes it, because clearly that was fair use, if there ever was an example of fair use. They say if it's used for commentary or parody. It was literally both. It was literally parody and commentary, the way I treated that freaking 10-second clip, or 12, whatever it was. So they better not take down my Kasparud Boy song video, because I'm going to be outraged. That was a lot. I spent a few hours thinking of recording all the instruments. And yeah, that was a lot of work. I swear, if this French Tennis Federation does that. Heartless scum. What was I going to say? Rafa comes through. The question is who comes through the top, and that leads me to, let's talk about Roger and Casper Ruud Boy, because I didn't talk about that match enough. And Damien tweeted me. He said it perfectly. He said, what Roger's doing is very special. And I've been saying this for days. Every time I teach a tennis lesson to a kid, I say, please go home and watch the French Open. Watch the French Open. Watch Roger Federer play. You're never going to see someone play like this on clay again, or at least not for a long time. Not quite like the way Roger's doing it. You might see someone follow the spirit of the style and be more like Tsitsipas. He's playing pretty aggressive here, although he's doing a lot of the dropping back so he can contain, the containment strategy. Roger is 100% offense. He's playing, it's like 1984 McEnroe. It's nonstop attack at the French Open. And it's wonderful. And I think, call me crazy, but the way Roger's playing, one, I think he's going to win Wimbledon. It's going to take a Djokovic at the top of his game to stop him. And I mean, this is better than 2014 Federer, who almost won Wimbledon over Djokovic. Is Djokovic better now than he was in 2014 at Wimbledon? I don't know. But Roger definitely looks better to me. The forehands Roger Federer is hitting, how early he's taking the ball, how well he's striking the backhand. Maybe some don't think it's the neo backhand yet, but it's good enough. He's not making many errors, and the stuff he's doing is very difficult, the timing. And every time I see him hit a great shot, I think, on grass, that just ended the point. You know, on clay, it sets him up for the next ball to be an opportunity. On grass, he just won. And I just feel like he's going to have so much confidence knowing how much damage he did to these players on clay. He's going to know that if he takes that same game and puts it on grass, he's the best. No one can beat him if he can do that. I just hope he can stay mentally strong enough to keep it up all the way through the grass season. And, you know, last year he had the hand thing, and he was missing a lot of forehands. This is totally different. Federer's not missing forehands like that, like we saw reoccur throughout a lot of stages last year. And for that alone, I think Roger's going to win Wimbledon. And I think Roger will come through Stefanos or Stan, unless Stan just destroys Stefanos, crushes him, straight sets, and comes in with the most confidence he's felt since being like a Grand Slam champion. And you better believe Stan is loving this and really feels like this is an opportunity to get right back where he was and start being in the mix to win slams again. It seemed like him and Andy Murray were toast not too long ago. Speaking of Murray, I saw some footage of Murray hitting serves on grass. You know, it looked good because knowing what he's been through. Who knows if he's able to really play, but it looked good. Anyways, I think that's enough about Federer. You get the gist of what I'm saying. One more thing, the serving. It's like it's getting better. If you look at the numbers, his career numbers are probably about the same. I don't know, though. It's got to be getting better. He just keeps serving incredibly. Hit the music. We're going to get out of here. Enjoy the matches tomorrow. It's going to be a great lineup. Roger and Leonardo Meyer, they're up early. Straight sets there. I think Stan comes through Steph in 5. But deep down, I think Stefanos is so special that deep down, you know, they said, who was it who said? Was it Mats Wilander said if Casper Ruud is going to be a big boy and join the big names like Sasha Zverev, he's got to step up and beat Roger here. I didn't agree with that, but I do feel like Stefanos knows this is a match he needs to win, and a match he knows he can win. We'll see how he feels. I know most people will disagree with that and think Stan's got him. I believe Stan has earned it because of his past accolades here. Enjoy the stuff. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll talk about all that stuff. You know, the matches.